Great, welcome back to the next stage. I just quickly, before we go on to the next bit about wiring, I just want to show you how far we've got so far. So I've sewn on the fabric here, sewn on the flower, then I've got the quill that I showed you how to do and back in my studio. So showing you how to put that around a tube and get that curly, and also with the curling tongs, sewn that on. And what I've done is I've actually put it onto the very edge here. So you can see there, it's just sort of floating on that edge. It's just underneath the flower. And it's on the very edge. This will be okay because the bit that's going on your head is here, not here. So it's not going to hurt the head at all because this is the bit that's going on the head. Now I put it on by using a sort of invisible way of doing it, invisible thread, by just going through the side of the quill and then down underneath through the hat and then through the side of the quill again. I've done that in two places about 1 inch apart, and I've used a really thick pin, one of these. You see that? So we've got a real thick end. So that thick pin I've pushed through first to make the holes, and then I've used thread, and I've used a clear cream thread so that you don't see it, so it matches the quills. So that is on, that is all good. And then that is going to sit here and the quill is going up. Now the quill is matching this bit here. I wanted it to sort of work with it and not work against it, so that your eye is going from the flower and drawn up around, so you'll notice this point. Now it's not that well defined. Now we've got this glitzy fabric on, you can't see it that well. So when I put it on, I might actually just tilt it slightly sideways so you can accentuate that a bit more, but I'm not quite sure yet. So I'll just put it on and see later on, because it also looks good like that, but then people might not notice that there was a point, so just tilting it slightly would help accentuate that. So that's one. Then another one I had, which you could fit on the back, but because these don't match, you'll need to have a block on the reverse to do that, unless you could just have a flat back on there, or you could squish it a bit more, but I wouldn't recommend doing that, it would look a bit funny. So this one I'm going to use for another hat, and what I've done is, like I told you, put PVA on it and then sprayed that gold. So then you get these really lovely grain effects going on here. So there's more at the bottom, less at the top, and it's all pink still inside. So I could add some more pink to that to bring the pink back, or I could add more gold to it, could put more sequins all over it, whichever. So that just adds a little bit of texture. So when that's on, that's going to look quite cool, and for it to go up. Also, it could be a back detail, so if I wanted the hat to sit like this and then I'd have all sorts of things going on in there, then that would be a nice bit at the back of the head. So put that there a second. So we've got that one, we've got this one. Also with this one, we've got this, we're half done with this back, so this is going to go in here, but first of all we're going to have lining in here. We're going to attach a metal structure to this, and then we're going to fit this in here, because I can't attach the metal structure to this once it's in, it's going to be difficult, and I want to put the lining in first and then fit that in, because if I try and put that in and put a lining over it, it's not going to work. So put the lining in, this one, done. Then this one, put the wire on and then sew it in, and then I'll get another piece of fabric just over there just to cover all that up. And when I say wire, you'll see what I mean in a minute, because I'm going to show you how to make a wire frame for this. So with this hat, it needs a wire frame because it's sitting so far forward here. So elastic is not going to work unless you want it flat on the head. So if you want to keep it up, we're going to have a frame. If you wanted it here, then you could use elastic again, or a hairband, because it could sew to these bits. But if you want it right in the middle, then you have to use a frame. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So we've got that one and that one for that. Then we go on to the black one that we were just doing this one. So this one I put a dip in. I showed you how to do that. And then this is the front. So this is what you'd sew all your trimmings to. And then this is the back. Now, so I will attach the wire frame to this bit, attach all the trimmings to this bit, and then put the two together. Now I do have to think about the grain, because obviously if this is round, you know, you haven't got an edge or a point where you know the bias should go from. So you want to make sure that this is on the bias. Now that is straight. I've got straight grain happening down there. So I know that if I turn it, this is my bias, this is my bias, this is my bias, this is my bias, because the bias is running from here, or sorry, straight grain is running from here and straight grain from here, and then where they cross is where my bias is. So I know my bias is going down the middle here. So I want to match up this and this. So later on when you do it, you just want to think about that. So I need to make sure my biases are sort of matched up, my straights are matched up. So the straights are joining there. Then my biases are joining there. Straight is joining there. So it's all matching up. So when your eye is going around the hat, it doesn't look, it's not breaking it up, not breaking the eye up because it looks a bit slightly off. So just think about that when you're putting those together. So that is for a minute when we do the metal frame. This bit is going to have the trimmings on. Now I've got something exciting to show you with the trimmings. So just put that there a second and I'll get it. So I just got my trimming there. Now what I've been doing is spraying, because I showed you this before, and so I've been spraying some extra. So this is just silver. It's PVA wood glue and I've sprayed that silver. This one I've put in another mixture of Plasticast. So just to make it a little bit stronger. But this one I've just done with the PVA, and I found something excitingly new. You know, you might be excited by this, you might not, but it feels like art school to me. So I put this down, I spread it all around however I wanted it. I let that dry, and then as I peeled it off, I didn't realise I put it on black plastic. Normally I put it on a clear or some sort of acetate finish or some sort of clear bag, but this time I put it on a bag with a pattern. So this one, where's this from? Waitrose. You know that? Probably Waitrose. And I've just dripped it all over, and it's made this pattern on the bag, which I just love. So it's taken off the colour of the bag. Now I have that pattern, so if I want to copy it, I can use that same pattern. I can try and get my PVA in the same place. So I've made a pattern. So that's really exciting. And I think that could go in a frame and be a painting on a wall. So that I'm going to keep. And then this is what's left. And it's taken up the pattern from that has gone onto this. So if you want a bit of a graffiti look on your piece, then look at that. It's like a web. So that has got some of the plastic still on there. I've got little shapes, slight letters. It's just made it really, really interesting. So that we can put on this, or we can use the other side, which I've sprayed silver. So that I want to put on this. So maybe, now it will be more floppy because there's no other mixture in this, it's just the PVA. So it will not be as strong as, say, if you use some Plasticast in it. But then if you use Plasticast in it, you can't get it so drippy. So we can keep the structure up with a bit of acetate. Or you could use wire, other things. So that could be it, and it could go up. Or we could scrunch it. So we want to see a bit of that silver at the bottom. So we don't need all of this. There's quite a lot here. And we want to put it on the bias as well. We could just spread it over completely and not have anything coming up, but I think it might be nice to have a bit of height to it. So, you know, we can have a big structure going on right in the middle of your head. And if you want that all open, we would have to put something on to keep it out. So I'm thinking with the acetate of actually gluing that onto the acetate and then cutting around the top so that it stays out, and then we can sew that on. Or you could just cover just the base, or you could just have a tiny little bit. So I really love where we've got some of it and it's just covering a little bit of it. So that's really arty. We could just have a little section of it, like these little bits, if you just wanted a small version. And then also we've got things like this, which is a feather mount. It's like a little tree, this one. Could have something like that going on in the middle. And then just that bit of detail in there. We could put these ones on, just to cover the bottom. Or anything else you've got, you know, flowers can go on there, bows can go on there, metal squiggly bits coming up. So say if we have Cinnamay curls, you could put wire in them to keep Cinnamay curls out. So Cinnamay curls is in just a bias strip, wrap it around your hand so it's a bit of a curl, and then you just put some wire in it, and so that sort of sticks up and comes out. All sorts of things. So I've got silver and black on here, so I want to keep to those colours, but I could go crazy if I wanted to just put like a luminous aqua on or something. I could do that as well if I wanted another bright colour. But I think this one deserves a bit of futuristic look, because this is so futuristic-y already. And if you're going to put something like this on, then you know you don't want to overpower it with anything else, so this would just be okay on its own. So say if I got A3 here, so I had to go to an art shop to get A3. I couldn't find it online. And also all the sprays I got from an art shop. And I think I've got 2 here, yeah. This is only 180 grams though. Really 240 gram would be better. But I can't find that yet. So I don't think I'll use all this because it's quite a lot, but if I just sprayed that on there, then that makes it much tougher. And then that can then, now this can go underneath and we can cut it into a shape for it to go on and be a bit crazy. So that's that. Right, I'm going to clear this and I'm going to show you how to make the wire piece, the wire frame that goes on the head to fit into the other section of this, to fit into this one. And then we can put the 2 together with the pink one, and then we'll work on this one. Right, so I'm going to put this away and show you how to do the wire next.